promises with savings, and politics with 27 trillion naira. Over 10 million retirement savings accounts. Nigeria operates one of the strongest pension systems in Africa, and I dare say we introduced the regulation establishing accredited pension agents. We also issued regulation rebranding the micro pension plan to the personal pension plan to broaden appeal across the whole country. Because inclusion cannot happen from Abuja alone, PENCON cannot drive this alone. It requires people on the ground, trusted faces with communities, individuals who can explain pensions simply, collect micro contributions, and build confidence every day. Accredited pension agents are our bridge to the informal economy. They will take pensions to markets, villages, motor parks, farms, workshops, and everywhere you can think of. And Tunji, I do hope that I am correct. That is how real penetration happens, not by theory, but by presence and proximity. But scale requires more than people. It requires technology. If we are serious about reaching over 75 million Nigerians, we cannot rely on manual processes or paper forms. We must meet Nigerians where they already are, on their phones, in real time, and seamlessly. Through digital onboarding, micro, daily, or weekly contributions, real-time account access, seamless benefit payment, low-cost servicing at massive scale. And government policy must support those who choose to save. And I should note that pension contributions are tax deductible, so of course, the government is encouraging Nigerians who save to keep more of what they earn by contributing towards their retirement. This is where PSBs, payment service banks, telcos, and fintechs like our become transformative. Technology allows a trader to save 500 from a phone, 500 naira from a phone, a mechanic to contribute weekly without leaving his workshop, a farmer to monitor his pension balance in real time because pioneers act. Let me emphasize something critical. This reform is not jobs, pensions for the informal majority. We will move from millions to tens of millions, from exclusion to universality, from vulnerability to resilience. Through smart regulations, strong partnership, technology innovation, and pioneers like our who are willing to lead. But pioneers deliver impact. My hope is that we have more pioneers in the weeks and months ahead. History will remember 2004 as the foundation. But I believe this period will be remembered as the expansion. The moment we decided that they are for every single Nigerian. That is the resilience mandate. To build a country where every worker can save, where every family is protected, and where every citizen can retire with dignity. Thank you, everyone. God bless you.
Please another round of applause. Thank you, madam, for that powerful and forward-looking keynote. If there was any doubt about the urgency of this mission, I believe it has now been decisively removed. All right, now, ladies and gentlemen, We're about to witness a historic moment of the accredited pension agent's license from the National Pension Commission. Our bar is actually the first accredited pension agent for now, so it's the first in Nigeria. Please a resounding round of applause for this incredible fact. And for this question, Mr. A.M. Salim, and also the let's welcome him, Mr. A.M. Salim. Please round of applause. We would also like to invite again the Director General of the National Pension Commission, Ms. Omolola Oloworaran. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so joining him is the co-chairman and the co-chairman National Pension Commission, panel Committee on Development and Deployment of Industry Application for Personal Pension Plan. We have Mr. Abdul Kadir M. Dahiru. Please a warm round of applause. gentlemen, also joining the Fireside chat. Just a moment.
So also joining us on this Fireside chat is the man who actually owns the product, Dr. Oloworaran, the head entity, National Pension Commission. Please put your hands together for me. Good morning, everyone. It was very important for this product conversation that we spoke about the heart of the regulation that drove what we are witnessing today. And it was a unique opportunity for me to witness the conversations firsthand. But I think much more than I witnessing the heart of the regulator in terms of the expectation, the robustness in the regulation, the deep thinking that went behind the evolution from micro pensions to personal pensions. I felt it was very important that we had a fireside chat just to basically bring, as they say in the educational community, the eggheads behind the regulations to be able to give us that conversation. And I'm speaking with Ms. Larry and Dr. Oloworaran, who are both on that committee, and I spoke to several times. Sometimes late in night, if I can very well remember, but I'm glad we're here. So I'm going to start the conversation with Ms. Larry. I have just a few questions, and this one says, now, in creating the ratings for involving micro-pensions that the MPP plan into the more robust personal pension plan, how do you see the introduction of accredited pension agents changing the speed of adoption for Nigerians in formal workforce?
You should read the comments.
So the creation of the APAS was as a result of serious thinking about how can we expand coverage of pensions into the informal sector. I think in her speech, the Director General has summarized some of the key issues around that. But as you know, 2004 pension reform made it mandatory for people that are covered in formal employment. But like in all jurisdictions, PENCOM struggled to expand coverage into the informal sector. And we realized that Nigeria is essentially informal. About 70% of all economic activities happen in that informal space. But if we are to build a modern economy, especially where we can protect and secure lives at that old age, we must be able to provide an opportunity for people to save retirement. Currently, what people do is you invest in your children with the hope that they will take care of you when you are old. But now they are all flying away. Before they leave the villages, the cities, now they are living to the cities and going abroad. So it is very important. And in 2019, it led to the creation of the micro pension scheme. Between 2019 and now, we have been able to enroll about 200 plus people, but only 17,000 accounts are funded. So we sat down and as a result, many DG resolutions set up a committee to look into it. And we looked at what are the issues. The way the PFAs are structured, to go and open accounts by looking at a set of marketers, a team of 5 people, you have to take them in a bus, they will spend the whole day in the market going up and down. The people don't know them, they don't trust them. They see these people coming in suits and they don't speak the same language with them. They don't understand their unique issues around their businesses. The way you make contribution is cumbersome. Looking for a bank, filling out forms, the whole thing didn't just make sense for that market. So we looked at it and we studied it, and so why don't we find a way that this thing can be automated? Why don't we consider fintech? Why don't we consider a way that people can, at the convenience of their homes, their business places, determine when they want to contribute, how they want to contribute? Why don't we make it flexible? And luckily for us, we didn't have to create the way. Banking in Nigeria has been very transformational in adoption of technology. I think it's one of the most advanced in the world. And so we studied that ecosystem closely. And we tried to say now, how can we adopt an agency type arrangement where you have people that are closer to the society, they are known to this particular demographic we're targeting, they understand them, and everything is simple. So most importantly, how do we have somebody that is close to the people? Onboarding is very simple and straightforward. You have a phone number that is registered with NIMC, you come on board. And exit is also very easy and simple, and you can make one or two seconds. So really that is what led us to identifying the APAs as a unique, a unique operator kind of, if we can have that agency arrangement, we hope that will crack the market. And to be fair, or to be truthful, Awaba had just been persistent. He has been in that space for a long time. And I was also sharing one small information with my colleagues. The very first time we had about Awaba, or we met him, we nearly got him arrested. ICANN was having a conference, I think, in Rockview. Some of the accountants in the commission attended, and they saw this banner all over the place, with somebody calling himself Awaba saying he's going to take pension contribution. I remember one of my retired directors ran back to the commission, and we started writing letters. And if you know Pencom, you can write letters. Anyway, but to be fair, he came back to us, he engaged us, and he just remained there. So some of his experience and how he has evolved also helped us in actually designing and structuring the accreditation
Thank you very much for that, Sam. I'll go to Dr. Nayabe. Mr. Aaron spoke about trust. One of the main things we have learned from the market is we need to, fill that trust gap. How do you think an agent network would help bridge this between institutional safety and the everyday hustle of the average Nigerian? So this person is, for just an example, this person sells jerry cans in Apple, and then the person is being told about personal pensions. How do you feel agents can be able to bridge that network of trust?
Thank you very much, Tuji. When you look at the agency network, in this new dispensation, it has been formalized. And when you formalize agency network like this, it turns out that it is these agents that will act as intermediaries between the contributors, that is, this woman selling groundnut, selling jerrycan at Apogon, and the pension ecosystem. So it turns out that these agents, they are always on ground to talk to these market people, to talk to these traders, always. So, and by the time an agent is going into the market to market personal pension plan, it means that that agent is going as an extension of the supervised pension system. And because these agents are always very close to the markets, they are very close to the communities. Now, the contributors or these market people, they have trust in them in the sense that they know that they see them every day, hence their money is very close to them. That is through the agents, they see that their money is very close to them, they have contributed through the agents, and the agents go back, probably on constant basis or regular basis to discuss the situation in the market, how the market is carrying, and that this is what we are doing with your money, and this is what your money has earned in the last few months that you have put the money there. So the market people, the traders, the informal sector, they will be more at home with these agents in the sense that they see them every day, and they always, anytime they see these accredited pension agents, they see their money because their thought is that their money is very close to them, and their money comes to them regularly, the way agents go to them, and hence their money is also safe and secured. When you look at these agents too, they have a share capital in the accredited pension agents framework, and share capital is 50 million. And these agents, they are not just individuals. The commission has employed or engaged individual agents in the time past, and it did not work. But it's our belief that when we engage formal accredited pension agents, like experience, technical experience, ICT experience, and financial experience, they'll be able to break through the market and bring their experience to bear. Also, again, we also believe that these agents, they can build trust in the contributors. For example, one of the provisions of the guidelines of PPP is that contributors have the option of withdrawing 50% of their retirement savings account balances, and this money can be withdrawn through the agents. In fact, our demonstrated how this can be done using any POS to do such withdrawal. We were all amazed when we saw this on that fateful day, and to the extent that contributors or informal sector workers are able to make withdrawals from their accounts and they get this money, it means that their trust will also multiply in the pension ecosystem, the agents, and you will also able to attract people to the industry. So, and because these agents are also subject to a lot of agreements, as well as the need for them to observe regulations, guidelines, and standards issued by the Commission. To that extent, they want to minimize any coercive action and mis-selling that can put the pension industry into problem. So to that extent, the accredited pension agents, they will also do their best to ensure that they are not sanctioned.
Thank you very much for that. Please put your hands together. Later on, we have this infrastructure together, and it's a really a collaboration. We shouldn't just talk about mine. And I think we'll back to you today, especially about the use of technology. I have on research, I have seen a very strong push for the adoption of technology. The first thing I is identity verification. That was a system which now makes mandatory pension seamless and easy for a lot of contributors. Apparently, however, happens to be one of the PSSP providers too. But also looking at the APA agencies.
They should be rounding up now.
It is not just a PENCOM situation, it's an intersection between PENCOM, central bank, all the developmental institutions, bodies like FINA all come together to ensure that there's an intersection between all government parastatals to ensure that every Nigerian is more resilient. How do you think this can work best with the deployment of personal measures? I personally feel that there should be a drive to, on a national scale, not just at the pension commission level alone, just to make sure that every single Nigerian has a pension. How do you think regulation?
Thank you very much. Actually, I think there is or there are cross-cutting relationships, especially among some regulatory interventions and sector, that is, in the informal sector, less than 10% of growth in that sector. Hence, the National Pension Commission and every other agencies that has to do with trying to expand your bank and serve yourself internationally, you have a very major role to play here. So it's beyond the framework we do. Then system companies equally have a major role to play because they have been operating in this space, especially the informal sector space, as well as the financial security ecosystem. So they know these people, they know where they are, they know their organizational structure, they know how to talk to them. Hence, so collaboration, cross-cutting collaboration.
All right, sorry, quickly, just to give this to Dr. Alarade.
And reasonable, insightful, and refreshingly honest discussion. Magic Sevens. Please a round of applause for them. Magic Sevens. Please a round of applause for them.
care. I'm interested.
No.
I'm not interested. Taking their time. How many minutes is TV? Okay, okay. Why is it expiring?
Where is your life? Your life.
Yes, it's connected. Why? Connected again. Try. I'm coming back. It's network.
How's it going on? I'm tired. Yeah.
I need this guy. I'm all done with the shows.
So I do this one, I'm still working on our normal work.
Wow.
Yes, man. Customer will always want solutions.
At least when this is over, I saw on the flyer that there's a day two.
Yeah, there's the two.
That's going to be
Finance
about
planners.
wow, so no rest here.
No rest.
So, on tea break. What is it? Not yet.
What time is supposed to be the ticket?
20 minutes. So we're supposed to come back around 12:10.
12:10, okay.
Yes, we need to network.
one the 8%. It was at 10 when I plugged it. That's
Ladies and gentlemen, we have 5 more minutes of tea break.
this one the most important. When I plug am, e dey 11%. Now na 8%. We don go 10. Let's say dey touch. That's why I'm here at electronics. Sorry, your seat.
Now I go. Congratulations, sir. Great job. Well done, sir.
Everybody wants to eat. Right. But why would you this morning for this hotel? I'm okay.
2 more minutes for the tea break.
But you know when not like this tomorrow. Especially with what means Yoruba.
Nigerians will eat them. But they won't sit for them. They won't listen until they carry that food. Yeah, we just have to wait for the system.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, please have your seats. The next session is about to start. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back from the tea break. We promise that the next session will be just as energizing, possibly even more than the coffee. We will now begin panel session 1, Policy Pathways for Inclusive Pensions. This session examines the frameworks and collaborations required to achieve universal coverage. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me to welcome our moderator, the founder and CEO of Nairametrics Financial Advocates, Mr. Obichukwu. Please a round of applause. Our first panelist is the Deputy Governor of Financial System Stability, CBN, the Central Bank of Nigeria, Mr. Philip Ikazo, represented Human Protection Department, Central Bank of Nigeria, Dr. Aisha Isa Olatiwu. We also have the Director, Information and Communication Technology, ICT, of the National Pension Commission, Mr. Michael Topola. You're welcome, sir. Round of applause. And joining them is Chief Executive Officer, Enhancing Financial Innovation and Access, AFINA. Oyisolami Akinjaiji. You're welcome, madam.
Thank you, Jerry.
Right, good afternoon, everyone. Are we all here? I know we're all having our brunch, but this is about to be an interesting session, so it would be great to have everyone's attention. All right, so in this particular session, we're going to be discussing policy pathways for inclusive pension. When you hear that word inclusive, I mean, obviously connotes ensuring everybody is participating and no one is left out. And so we're going to be discussing what pathways we can create policy-wise to ensure that everyone is part of it. The first question, of course, will go to Madam. Doc. All right, so, I mean, of course, we know that Nigeria's central bank is very key to financial inclusion in Nigeria, and the central bank is also very keen on the capital formation. So, from a financial system stability perspective, how does transitioning millions of informal workers, I think we heard DG say earlier that about 90% of Nigerians workers are informal. So how does transitioning them into a regulated pension framework strengthen the overall financial stability of Nigeria?
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for your participation, and I'm so glad to be part of this event. I would also like to say congratulations to the organizers. I think you have done well. Again, another congratulations to the regulator in the pension industry. We can see a lot of traction, and due to technology, we will see that some of these roles or function or activities interwoven. So the question is, how can we bring in more people into the pension sector? You can see a work put on CBN, but I would say that is not CBN responsibility, but we're happy to serve. I think we need to do a lot of partnership back to the pension authority. So the regulations, the activities, the drive to encourage the informal sector to be pensionable has to come from the pension industry. The CBN is just a regulator for the pension custodians who have banks, and I think about 10 or more of them have been a very strong, have been providing strong service in that subsector. Their names, as I can see, Access Bank, Fidelity, and so on. So they hold, and we as CBN ensure that those money they keep in custody are safe. We also ensure that the monies are kept in only risk-free, permissible assets, which today oftentimes is the NTB, that's the Nigerian Treasury bills. So from the central bank, and I think in partnership with the PENCOM, what we should do better that we're not doing today is ensuring visibility and accountability for interest return on the amounts put in the pension accounts. Serious, people just go to where their money is safe, and the next safety net is where their money will multiply. So we need to do a lot of visibility, a lot of accountability, and I tell you, the NTB rate has been quite encouraging. So again, back to the pension industry, I wish the DG was here, but I believe we have senior people still seated in this room. You will need to do a lot of work with the PFAs on how the returns on these RSAs are disclosed. Consumers, or I don't know, what do they call pensioners? Pensioners must see value, and that way, and I agree with the creation of agents taking pension to the last mile. You'll be able to encourage more people to come into the pension scheme. We're happy to partner with you. We already have over 3 million, Madam Uche, 3 million agents. And because the setup is expensive, I encourage, however, to work with the existing agents so that it is an activity added to the current functionality. And that way, the cost to serve is minimal, and it is worth the while of the agent to continue to be in business. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Thanks for that. There's a round of applause to that response. All right, so still on the strategic framework, I'm going to come to as the ICT lead, what are the primary technological ways PENCOM has established to ensure that accredited agents can securely, because security very important, securely process and reconcile pension data in real time across the country. That is a lot of work. So it's interesting to hear how that is possible from your perspective.
Okay, thank you very much. And good afternoon, everyone. It's so great to be here. Also, I want to just quickly appreciate Awaba for taking the bull by the horn. When we started this journey, I think about 6 or 7 of you, but Awaba has done well to be the first to be licensed. We've done so many work together with the team, and so we're happy to be here. So, and coincidentally, you also got your new license here, so we're happy. Just to quickly respond before I take the question, around what is the commission doing, because again, it's very germane from what the representative of the Deputy Governor of CBN has said. Safety first, second, return. Even if I'm saying I want to be sure that I'm not shortchanging myself by investing within the pension industry. As a commission, it's an area we are concerned about. And of course, we all live in Nigeria. We know the challenge with inflation and all that. So one of the things the investment team, and they've been working sleepless on how to ensure that the rates of return on the pension fund invested goes above the inflation rate. because that's when you can actually have real benefit. And they have a couple of things which I won't waste our time talking about here, but I think we will have the opportunity to also share, which they will share in any way with the operators, on what the commission is doing to ensure that return really makes sense to put your money and save for yourself for your old age. Now, back to the question. The guideline we released carefully captured everything around the relationship, around how the APA operates. But beyond that, we're also working out a lot of operational dynamics. To speak very directly, I've been in calls with the APA, even the AWABA before they were licensed, with some of the PFA. First, as an APA, you are free to work with any of the PFAs, licensed PFAs. Now, the transaction routing is from you in the field down to the PFA, because whatever you do as an APA, you're actually working on behalf of a licensed pension fund administrator. So your transaction route from you, and we expect you have multiple channels. It's not just technology. Something was very central at the back of our mind when we were doing this. Technology will work because it will help to scale, but technology alone will not do it. If technology could do it alone, the PFA will have done that. In fact, what came and what brought about this was that the PFA whose mandate is to do this, for looking at the funding involved, the cost of going to those where these 70-90% people are, it's too expensive. So it doesn't make any business sense. That was why as PENCOM, in doing this, we look out for fintechs that are already playing strongly within the financial inclusion space. They are there already, so they are not making too much investment again. Some of them already have agents lined up, and people already go to this agent to carry out normal banking transaction, deposit, withdraw, open an account. So it's still some of those agents that will be leveraged for those that will prefer to meet a human being. They just don't trust using a phone, either because they don't have the capacity to buy a smartphone, or they just don't trust technology. At least they are used to the agent. With the agent, we have POS application, some you have on your phone, for those of them who like to use phone, and these transactions are secure. The onboarding process, we work it out with our, for instance, they are the one now. We've worked it out with them. The onboarding process is seamless. You just need very few information, and with that information, they can onboard you. Now, as soon as you are onboarded, that account is not active until you fund it. Because in the current scheme, the former micro pension scheme, that was what came with. We have a lot of people registering, open accounts, but the accounts are unfunded. So to ensure that this time around we do not fall into that same thing, as you are registering, you must fund the account. And as you fund the account, you must get instant message as the contributor that your money has been received. So there is the possibility of somebody receiving money from you and disappearing to thin air is out of you. Now beyond that, we already have connection with we have a lot of technology deployed between us and the PFA. So once as APA, your transaction gets to the PFA, we already defined the rails through which it gets to us. There are APIs that working with the PFA that the transaction gets to us in a secure manner. So to answer your question, that is what we have to do.
How does the RSA contributors, do they have access to the data to say, okay, this is how much I've contributed, say, over the last, 1 year?
Okay, so that's a part, like I mentioned, we know we can't do it alone. So we partner with fintechs already playing within that space. So they have the infrastructure already, and that was one of the things we looked at in giving this license. So we checked their system, tested, they even did a lot of demos. So the RSA holder, if you are the type that have a smartphone, there will be an app from our bank where you can see your transaction as it happens immediately. If you are the type that you don't have a smartphone, you have a normal feature phone, there is SNA, you can use USSD and get and see your transaction that it has happened and it has been credited to your account.
All right, fantastic. Thank you very much. A round of applause, please. That was very effective because my own RSA, all I always see is my account balance. I don't used to see all my contribution in the past, so maybe I'm going to take that up against. I'm not going to mention their name, but I think that it is there. All right, okay, I'm coming to you right now. Anyway, my question is, but from your own, from the finance research and data, because I think there's a lot of research and data in this space and a whole lot of other spaces too. What are specific behavioral or structural barriers currently preventing the workforce of 2026 workforce of Gen Z? Hey, this Gen Z workforce, pension plans, despite having the income to this one. And just so that everyone relates to this question, because we have a lot of Gen Zs today who have a lot of remote work, right? So in fact, Gen Zs today, if you have a Gen Z as your staff, don't think you're the only employer. You probably have two or three other employers, right? Yes. And then any different income streams. And so these income streams, so long as income, they should have some pension contribution. So just what are the challenges that they face?
Thank you so much. First of all, let me say congratulations to our bar. I used to say our bar. We are being corrected, our bar. I think our bar has set the bar. So, and I think also a major well done to PECOM for taking having the courage to do this, because you could have been deterred by the experiences of the past and say, well, it's impossible, but you chose not to say this must be done. But most of us, many of us in this room, we are old enough to have witnessed our, maybe not our parents, but people that we knew or at least could relate to, spend hours under the sun. Some of them we hear they fainted, some people died, but you don't see that anymore because pension has been reformed. So it is something that we should be all happy about. So let me go back to your point. When I saw that question, I kind of chuckled because the workforce of 2026 is a congregation of generations. You have Gen X's, you have Gen Y's, you have millennials, you have Gen Z. I hear Gen Alpha is joining, so let's not be carried away that it's only Gen Z's that are in the workforce. Because all of your artisans, they are not, I'm not sure they are Gen Z's. The gig workers, maybe Gen Z's, but the artisans, the market women, they are Gen X's, they are Gen Y's, they are millennials, so that we do not take it for granted that it's only Gen Z's who need to be to. Because the truth is, the workforce of 2026 is, yes, 88 million, 90 million, whatever it is, it's a combination of generations. And the issues are not just structural or behavioral, and I'll get to those in a minute. But I always say that without data, you're just another person with an opinion. But with data, the arguments should be no less. EPINA is enhancing financial inclusion and advancement, not financial inclusion. EPINA does a biennial study. We call it the Access to Financial Services Nigeria Study. What we check really is how are Nigerians accessing and using a broad range of financial services, and their perception of the quality of such services, which is gauged by whether or not they feel it is relevant to them and that they are using it. So pension, insurance, credit savings, you name it. From the data, we see that people will say, I don't have anything left after I have sorted the basic needs to be able to put anything aside. And we see that because when people are sick, at least 60% of them do nothing. They don't go to the hospitals. They are sick. Their lives are at risk. They could die. But they're not going to the hospital because they're saying, I have to eat first before I go to the hospital. At least 74% of Nigerians cannot raise 75,000 naira in 7 days. 84% of Nigerians run out of money, up from 73%. So the situation is real. The liquidity crisis is real. The cash flow issues are real. Inflationary pressures are real. So when we say the workers have the income to do so, I think we might be oversimplifying the issue. And we are judging by the people in this room that all look dapper and all of that. The Nigerians that are out there, many of them cannot put food on the table of their children. They will, it's a difficult choice if you have to choose between putting money aside and then securing the basic needs. So when people tell you, I don't have anything left, that is the major issue, and we are seeing that in the data. In addition to that, also awareness, and that's the great thing about this appeal agent, situation. Only about 9% of Nigerians, per our latest study, are aware of pension or micropension. Only 9%. So meaning if you call 100%, 100 people, and you're asking them, do you know about micropension? Do you know about personal pension? You will get at best 9 out of the 100. So there's an awareness issue. There's also the access issue. So before now, it's people who are in paid employment, who the employer as an intermediary that can get it. That's also the beautiful thing about this, because it removes the employer dependency so that they can have direct contact. But the bottom line is, people are faced with difficult choices. Inflation, basic needs, healthcare, what's it called? And then maybe I should also mention this at this point. Nigerians are saving, but they are saving towards primarily business goals. And the 60, Nigerians are entrepreneurial. 63% are saying, I'm saving to start a business or to expand a business. So if you're considering pension, and I know people, we had a very interesting conversation on my table there. If you are really thinking about pension that you can open up to so many more people, I think we need to think about it in a different form. Yes, this 50% is accessible, but when the 50% does not large enough to not feel fast enough, we need to think about it. So access is awareness, but when there isn't enough, even to put food on the table, pension is the last thing.
This is a round of applause for that. Very, 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 I put some things like here. 74% of Nigerians cannot reach 75%. Wow, that is just very, very good. Okay, in 7 minutes. Well, some of you can raise it in 1 second.
Every Friday in Lagos, right? Or even more than that. Someone is not very good.
I like your angle of 60% of Nigerians, of the respondents are saving to start business, because sometimes as much as we see pension as some sort of retirement fund, it could also be a fund that you can tap into for some kind of business of some sort. Because at the end of the day, retire doesn't necessarily mean you have to just sit down in your house. It just means also something that's less. So let's move on to integration and future of Dr. Question will come to you next. How can the CBN's financial inclusion strategies, in case a lot of people don't know, CBN has a very elaborate financial inclusion strategy that has been running for some years now. But how can this be further aligned to allow fintech-led agent networks to serve as the primary bridge for the resilience mandate? Now, to put that into context, you heard what Mr. Omolola said. Rather than reinvent the wheel, what they are basically doing is leveraging on the existing fintechs, which the CBN has done an amazing job over the last few years. So a lot of them are out there. So how can we, use them as fintech-led agent network to serve as the primary bridge for this resilience mandate?
Thank you very much. Maybe just a clarity on the role of the central bank in managing the national financial inclusion strategy. So the financial inclusion strategy today belongs to the federal government of Nigeria. The central bank is just a secretariat. So even our achievement today, I will say the credit also goes to PENCOM, NICOM, SEC, NCC. We have all these agencies fully participating in every meeting, every strategy, and even the development of all the frameworks and so on and so forth, including human resource contribution and also financial contribution to achieve what we have arrived at today or currently. We also say thank you to Afina. They have been a dependable partner in terms of survey and helping us to identify where we have where we came from and where we want to be. I'm sure she will say what next level the survey will take us to be able to say, yes, we have done well for ourselves. And why I say we have done well for ourselves is there is nobody, can anyone raise up his or her hand in this room that you do not have some kind of bank account or a wallet or, I mean, you will find anybody not having a bank account or some kind of wallet to reach to get a banking or access to financial touch points. So allowing the agents currently to serve in the pension subsector for us is a good development. And if you observe or mention this, that we should not recreate what we already have. Again, the target for informal sector, why I agree that they're not just a vulnerable population, because we also have educated or SMEs that are not fully pensionable. Maybe they're not enrolled in the pension scheme. So, but the concern is usually the vulnerable ones. And if you don't treat those agents, you are trying to cause another problem, exposing people to giving out their financial information knowingly or unknowingly. So we're happy to work with the pension or the AWABA, and the good information is that we also have SANEF, who is in charge of the agent. So this will help you to ensure trade, they're properly profiled. I think I will also encourage some kind of joint supervision between the PENCOM and the CBN to ensure that we quickly ramp up on things that are not in place. I agree when you get into the market in order to allow market penetration, if you look elsewhere or you're not aware of some ways, the joint to quickly tighten or use stick to bring in instance, but not exposing them unknowingly, I would say. So I'm happy to serve, and Sanef is here to work with Awaba, and I'm sure they will be able to gain big traction. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam. Right, so to next. APIs. Till today, I still don't know the full meaning of APIs. I just say it, chat. API. You have APIs, so that's not API. They ask me the full meaning of API, I don't know what it is. But anyway, it's almost a word now. Very soon, in the dictionary. Yeah, anyway. So, with the rise of API-first orchestration layers, how is PENCOM ensuring that data exchange, back to data question again, that data exchange between agents, PFAs, and custodians remain both high availability and institutional availability? So maybe you want to just first of all explain what the API is, right? And then take us through this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Before I go to your question, let me just quickly respond. It's so good. PENCOM is part of, and I love what the representative for the governor said. Dr. Aisha, thank you for clarifying. The truth is, we are a committee. The FSRCC committee, PENCOM is one of it. It's chaired by CBN, and we've been working together. Just to corroborate what she said, we're willing to ensure that we do a lot more together to ensure the industry is a lot better. And not just even on this the APA conversation, we've also deployed to all the employers in the room. Everybody is aware now to make pension contribution. You need to use what we call pension contribution remittance system, and we've licensed about 11 PSSPs. Those PSSPs also came from, they were PSSP licensed by CBN, which we leveraged to ensure, and the reason was simple. We saw a lot of uncredited contributions, and we sat down, analyzed, and discovered the only way is to ensure that from the employer's end, because a lot of them just send money without schedule. Some send schedule, the pins are not correct, information. So we receive the money, we don't know who to give it to. So that money ends up in the suspect account somewhere. And we felt instead of developing new people, CPN already has this guy, the PSS fees, let's leverage. And that's why we are where we are, and it's been a tremendous success. Also, to quickly respond to the CEO of EPINA. She mentioned something about out of the 9 out of 100 that are aware about pension. And that's concerning. And the simple reason why they did not is because for PENCOM, we've licensed operators. These operators find it easier, of course, like every capitalist, to do the business that will bring money. So, and they saw this set of people. The cost you will expend to reach them far outweigh whatever you think you will get that will bring something. So they just black out completely and left them alone. Now, with the licensing of the likes of Awaba, what it will do for us is that the awareness will then go astronomically high. Because when people are aware, they know the benefit. I mean, we've seen some footballers in Nigeria that after they stop playing, people, they just add a little sickness or whatever. People are doing, and these people earn serious dollars. So their problem is not even about survival, like she said. A lot of people are there that are not contributing either because they've heard it, they don't understand it, or they need you to give them scenarios why they need to, because they just feel, oh, I have money, I don't need that, that's too small. But experience has shown that we need to do a lot more. That's why we have the likes of Awaba, and we have about other tools that are in the pipeline that will be licensed very shortly. And the advantage is we want to ensure we move ground and reach to the hinterland. Now, and just to also say that we are talking to the CEO of SANEF, we just had a conversation outside there, that we need to quickly, because SANEF controls some for the financial inclusion space, this agent, how do we ensure we wrap up everything and be able to reach so much more? So that's said. Now back to your question, API, application programming interface. So that's what API is. And simply put, the API helps, so you have two different systems and you want to exchange information between them. So we utilize the API to exchange, pass information from one system to another. Now that is a risk in itself. And what PENCOM has done, PENCOM is well aware, and beyond just this, we carry out a gap analysis to ensure that we are represented and protected the way we should. And one of the things we've also done, we released an ICT guideline last year. Last year, I think it was July last year. That ICT guideline also even included what the operators need to, the kind of infrastructure they need to get. When you refresh, we had one before, we had to do a refresh in the light of what is going on now. And so, to ensure that data are protected, they don't get into the wrong hands, we'll define specifications and what the operators need to implement. In fact, we'll set a goal. Before now, ISMS used to be optional. Some operators are ISMS compliant. That's the Information Security Management System, and it's a standard ISO 27001. Now we put it in the guideline, and we gave all operators a 2-year window. That 2-year window where they must is no longer optional. And the sense behind it is, and just to be open, we had some operators who have been attacked. One was even attacked last year, and so that made us make it a compulsory thing that you must be ISMS. Now, if you imbibe the ISO standard in the way you operate, the way you manage data, the way if it becomes part of you, and you deploy the appropriate tools to protect yourself and also continue to do, because one of the things we also saw, you can have all the systems in the world. If the human leg is weak, you have none. And so a lot of awareness, and as PENCOM we are doing that, we do social engineering from us by ourselves. We also run twice in a year vulnerability assessment and penetration testing to ensure that our systems are secure. And we are mandating every year all operators submit to us a certificate that they've done it and the result of the BAPT. And we monitor them to ensure all the vulnerabilities seen are properly closed. So we're doing a lot to ensure that the entire pension infrastructure beyond just the APAC and personal pension plan is fully protected.
Thank you very much. Please, a round of applause for him. I think what we did describe as a lot of people might take for granted, but without having this collaboration and ensuring that this is happening, you could have a breakdown of this entire system. I'm going to come to you now, Madam Pina. Your research emphasizes moving beyond account access towards financial. I want you to explain what that means first, but then also follow-up question: how does a bundled product like Value App, which is the product from our solve the protection gap between traditional and non? So first question is just explain what we mean by moving from account access towards financial health, and then on Value App.
Absolutely. And I'll get to that in a minute, but allow me to first respond to
like how
a quick one. I think that it's important to mention it here. Dr. Aisha talked about the NFIS being Nigeria's strategy and it is the National Financial Inclusion Strategy. And the beauty about it is it identifies all the things, not just the goals, but the initiatives that we can deploy to ensure financial inclusion, which I will explain. And financial inclusion is not just access. And so for those of you that still call us enhancing financial innovation and access, we have moved beyond that. We are a bigger still, but we are enhancing financial inclusion and advancement. Can you say that after me? Enhancing financial inclusion and advancement. Go and see no more. Okay, so having said that, right? Because part of what we do is evidence generation. From time to time, we go back to the field to say, what is the current state of things? So even the data that we gather is so useful for you and me, so that we should be contributing to this great mandate. If you want to know what awareness is after this intervention, however, in another year or two, this is one way you can do it. We go into all 36 states and FCT at household level. So you are not just expecting one PFA or PENOC or whatever to tell you what it is. We are independent, data generators, and we can help you, see what the new information is around awareness. So that's just on the side. Now, what is financial inclusion or what is financial access? So I don't want to dampen the spirit, but Nigeria has done remarkably well since we started to measure financial inclusion. There are many parts of financial inclusion. There's access, there's use, there's quality and research. When we started, the focus was really on access. How many Nigerians have access to bank accounts, access to pension, access to blah blah blah? I'm old enough to know that sometimes when you get to the bank, you have to take the time and sit and wait your turn. Now it is democratized. Everyone has some pay, Oye pay, Ojo pay, whatever pay. But it same year, so our latest data is for 2023. But between 2020 and 2023, where we saw common access grow from 57% to 61%, which is great. That same period, we saw financial health decline from 28% to 60%. How can access be growing and financial health declining? What is financial health? There are many dimensions. Ability to plan, ability to save, ability to manage risk, liquidity, resilience. Those are the different dimensions of financial health. So maybe just having an account is not enough. Just having a pension account is not enough. Maybe using it from time to time is not enough. How are you able to use it to bounce back when issues happen? When, not if, because life always happens. When life happens, how are you able to leverage it to get back on your feet and to keep going and not on that account commit suicide? That is what financial services should do. It should help people to improve their lives, improve their livelihoods, to be resilient in the case of shocks, to bring themselves out of poverty. But when people continue to stay in poverty in spite of having access, then we are failed. Financial services are failed. So financial health is what it measures.
all of this will be done. Set your card, enter your pin, your account, then the money is then created against your RSP. And depending on how you want the collections to be daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, all of that is being contributed in that electronic instruction. And then you can go and all of that will just begin to happen going forward. So we feel like this is the missing link for collections generally, not just pensions anymore, for collections generally. And we are proud to partner with this local feature.
The thought for me is, it's always difficult building this thing. Because I know how, I mean, in my own little space, right? I'm just indicator in many areas, so, but I know how difficult it is to build rails. But for you to have built a rail that can connect Nigerian banks and Nigerian customers, then you have ecosystem, then putting it on, POSs that gives availability to everybody and it's, 100% uptime. How does that work? I mean, because because you need it. But many Nigerians we've gotten spoiled to the point where if I send money to another person and the person, or somebody sends money to me and I don't get it instantly, I start, doubting the person. Are you sure you sent it? Let me see the receipt. We're so spoiled. In other countries, very Western countries, if you send the money, you might get there next week.
Somebody also tends to overtalk. Sorry. I said somebody also tends to overtalk. So, no, I'm talking.
Okay, sure. But at such a scale, at POS level, and just I think because I just need to understand all that work.
So that work started in 2018, 2019, when we launched the money point. So what happened was about 10 years this year. And we have always been, if you look at people, the ethos of money point, we say we are providing financial, and that theme has been from the beginning, from 2015 that we started. And started with financial happiness that I improved CEO to some papers in another state. It started from financial happiness for us internally who work with the organization and financial happiness also. And what does financial happiness entail? It's not just that we have money that we're able to meet our financial obligations, but it's also that we're able to seamlessly transact and be confident that when we do transactions, from the moment when we initiate it to when disputes occur, all of this is so simple that we are financially happy. It's not just money in pockets, it's how we engage with tools and technologies that make this thing happen. So when we launched MoneyPoint, we always had the goal to connect to every bank. We got our social license in 2019 from the city. And our goal was to connect to every bank because we are seeing how the legacy systems, while they were quite useful for the time to which they were when they were initiated, had failed in setting. So we knew what to be better because we've been spent here building compliance and businesses here. And we are taking a lot of benefit from it. So for most people who work in the banks today, most of the POS acquiring software that you use actually use finance. All of that money has gone into building this particular infrastructure. That's why when you go to money point terminal today, the guy should be very confident to say that even if transaction fails, the reversal will happen. All of those learnings that are communicated from the reliable platform that is going and what we're now doing is now linear collections and direct debit.
So it's peculiar because I remember meeting Chelsea the first time, because I had the financial inclusion thing already. But when I started our bag, it was always at my mind. That the most important thing to do is to serve the market. And when I saw money going lower, or TMAP lower, I was not surprised because there was an Now, the conclusion for us in this conversation really is, at our bar, our job is really distributing financial wealth products to every Nigerian. And while of course we start with the pension every Nigerian, and while of course we start with the pension and the value bond, we're also working with insurance providers to be able to distribute some products. And one of the things that we've spoken about is being able to distribute third-party insurance at the last mile. You know, we talked about the fact that you could be at the garage. You know, who goes to their insurance company to pay for their motor insurance here? You actually go inside the insurance company. Nobody. Yes, we all have guys. We just don't want guys. But what we're saying is, we all have a guy. I get one guy. But what we're saying is, we all have a guy. I get one guy.
Website templates and address dealers in this case. So I think for us, we're just piecing every one of these things together to make all of that. Not just like pension, but also every bill payment rate and contributed and not just going to be paid, also so it's a synergy. So what we're looking at is we start a transaction on the web and conclude it on the POS. That for us is the total package of financial innovation, where regardless of any digital touch points you engage with or you interact with, you're able to start it and then conclude as seamlessly as you can. And that's your own company. That's our trend, that's the goal that we are trying to bring. So to speak directly to the example that you gave, there are quite a lot of things that need to come together together. Our job is to be able to synchronize that technology, those technologies, various technologies, bring them together to ensure that everyone who interacts with either a money terminal or some modified payment case or any other digital point by any licensed PSSP that is integrated to this level, you can be able to the service.
Thank you very much, Dennis, for being with us. It's been fantastic having you. And I just want to say that Nigeria doesn't watch out this. There's a lot coming from this partnership. I'm super excited. Mr. Kukola, you remember the day we came to the commission? That day we had sleepless nights. I kept him awake. We all just said that morning was great. But the team is working fantastically well together. Thank you very much, Dennis.
Please, ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for distinguished moderator and panelists. That was great. Indeed, real change happens when ideas leave the boardroom and reach the streets. And today we've seen that transition in action. We now arrive at another historic moment. The official unveiling of the Our Bar Agent Network. It's a model designed to bring pension accessibility to underserved communities nationwide. This is where innovation meets execution. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Our Bar leadership team. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be going straight to second panel. Okay, so we have the second panel, personal pension as a tool for economic resilience. And I would like to invite the moderator. From Athena, we have Chinasa Collins Ogbo. Please put your hands together and welcome her. Oh, it's a he, I beg your pardon, sir. Mr. Chinasa Collins Ogbo. And it's going to be... Oh, okay, all right. Well noted, sir. All right, so it's going to be about examining how personal pensions strengthen household resilience, support SME growth, enable financial inclusion, and contribute to macroeconomic stability. And our first panelist is the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Small and Medium Enterprises Advancement Network, SANEF, Uche Uzoebo. Shared agent. Okay. All right, you're welcome, madam. We also have the Chief Operating Officer, PENOP, Antonia Ifeanyi. Please put your hands together for her. Okay, so that is the acting CEO. All right, so she's the Director of Enterprise Development Center at Pan-African University, PAU. Pan-Atlantic University, beg your pardon. All right, we also have here, joining the panelists, the head MPP, National Pension Commission, PENCOM, Dr. Alayonde. Please put your hands together for him. He's the head EPP, National Pension Commission. So ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for them one more time and begin the panel session. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Yes, I do. So Tunji has already considered the fact that you might be getting tired and you also might be getting hungry. So he's trying to speak this up. I think we should clap for the organizer. All right. Now, my job is very simple, and part of it has been done by my CEO and Matrix, Mr. Grace. So, thank you for that. The panel you see here, they are highly powerful delegates, right, representing different institutions of authority. So I'm going to do my best. I'm actually learning, so I'm just going to facilitate this. My name is Omolola Oloworaran. I manage policy and district finance at Athena. So I'm not Chinasa. All right. Chinasa was unable to make it, so I have to step in. So without wasting time, I will start straight away by Dr. Alayonde. Thank you for all the work that you've been doing. When the DG was here, DG talked about some of the efforts that, she made a statement that was very striking, that pension is not done at retirement, right? You start building when you are. They say that is very common in the financial inclusion space, which is someone being one step away from his heart. right? And the question I want to ask you is, how does the MPD micropension plan, right? Sorry, yeah, the micropension plan, how does it address that fear of people being one step away from this app?
Thank you very much, moderator. One of the reasons, or part of the reasons for establishing the personal pension plan is to help alleviate old age poverty, especially among the informal sector workers and generally low income earners in the country. And like I said in the first panel that I participated in, that the personal pension plan gave the opportunity to contributors to be able to withdraw 50% of their retirement savings account balance on the basis of contingency needs, to call it contingency withdrawal. So, because for sure, less than 10% of workers in the informal sector are covered by any social protection program. And in fact, some of them are, majority of them are not aware of any government social protection program. So, and rainy days will always come. So, how do they take care of their rainy days? A lot of them, just one minor shock will move them from being vulnerable into poverty. Because there is a vast difference between vulnerability and poverty. Vulnerability is a state of being susceptible to poverty. So poverty, vulnerability means that at any small shock, you can enter into poverty. Not that you are actually there. So some of these shocks can push them into poverty because already they are vulnerable, they are prone to be in poverty. So because they are able to make this contingency withdrawal, which means that they will be able to satisfy immediate needs on the basis of that contingent withdrawal. And when you look at contributions into personal pension plan accounts, these contributions allow contributors to build a buffer of large stock of money, and these monies are invested. They are not just standing value in the retirement savings account, they are invested. And when you look at the personal pension plan guidelines now, there are two methods of investing this money in PPP accounts. You can invest in conservative investments, which means that invest in conservative investments, which means that investment that carries little risk, and then can invest in growth fund. So you are exposed to a certain level of risk. So to that extent, both from theory and empiric, any instrument carries some risk, it also carries some return, also risk free. So to that extent, the money is invested by pension fund, by contributors at retirement will be their contributions and return on investment. So and in most cases, return on investment takes a higher percentage of RSA balance at retirement, especially when you are able to contribute over a long period of time. When I look at my own retirement savings account, I realize that my return on investment arrangement, that is, accredited pension agent arrangement, will reduce it to 24 hours.
All right. The reason I ask this is simple. If you have ever lived close to a POS operator, right? The one we call agents, financial service agent, you realize that sometimes when transactions fail, they don't know the provider, they don't know the bank. Is the agent enough? They arrest them, people. They go through a lot. So because also our bank is going into the business of agency banking, agents already, which of course many providers also share, and you manage that shared expansion network, shared network expansion facility. The question I want to ask is, what can the agents do? Because sometimes when we go to, and when I mean what can agents do is, what activities are really permissible at agent location? Because most times we see is It's either people are paying in money or they are withdrawing money. Now, if you say that pension is permissible, for instance, right? Why have, and I'm not saying that's what you will say, but I'm just putting the hypothesis forefront. If you say that's one of the activities, why have we not seen this happening? And what will you do as an organization to ensure that this kind of activities that can also contribute to agents' bottom line is activated?
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. I want to congratulate Tuji again and our bar. We call it our bar team for this bold step. And of course, thank you. This conversation didn't just start today. So going back to what I was talking about, shared agent network expansion. Is that? Are you sure we'll be able to pay you? Did you get it?
Yes.
So this conversation started 7 years ago. And the agent network, today we were talking about over 2.5 million agents. What we all know about we call them POS agents. They are across the 774 local government areas in Nigeria. There's nowhere you get, at least you have an agent in the local government. And what are the businesses? When we talk about micro pension, it didn't just start today, it didn't start the conversation with, like I said, it started seeing that even before them as one of the products that we should also offer for the last mile. But see, the common thing is they say cash in, cash out. It's not even cash, it's only cash out. People just go to the agent to withdraw cash. I don't think I've even seen any, body company say, I want to give you this money. So that became the trend, but that's not what they are meant for. When we talk about the last panel, I think of the CEO of the thing that talked about National Financial Inclusion Strategy, those are part of the services that we are also talking about. All the last panel. When we talk about pension, the impression is that pension is meant for you and I, the working class, it's for everybody. And I'm really happy that we're now practicalizing it with this, starting with our bank, because micro pension we're talking about, we need to get to the mass. People need to start understanding that. When you also talk about when people want to save, they've not even eaten. They don't even have money. You're telling them to put aside money for pension. But all those things start from some. The financial education is there because that is where we also need to improve. We're doing a lot, but we need to do more. Going alone, I would say that is the best way because we already have the infrastructure. When the DG was leaving, we were discussing out there that we have the infrastructure with the Speaker and Mr. Mike. We already have the agent network structure. So it's just for us to key into that. When I say for us to key into that, yes, our bar, we already have the license. And some of the partners are already money point here. I can see TC Global, Powerful, to partner and start onboarding with them so that we can reach the last mile. The structures are there. These agents are already known in those communities, so you're not coming to reinvent it because believe you, they believe that agent more than anybody, more than even the principal that's even onboarded them. So those people we're talking about would rather go to them to be able to understand what they do, also to benefit from them. So that's again. Another thing we do is this agent also is very important. We also need to incentivize them and also promote them. What do I mean by that? So for every service they offer, there has to be incentive. So we're not going to give them. In Summit, when we started Summit Agent Forum, when the agents, we reward agents, the top performing agents, different principals, they really love it because everybody wants to be celebrated. So the more you celebrate, the more they are financial literacy. We cannot, in fact, I think I need to tell you this, we can't even go to them without having to do that. What is that?
Linked to that about how the operators will be investing the money to ensure that there is safety and there is return, right? Fantastic. Okay, so economic impact. So I think let's be mindful that the personal pension plan and the normal CPFs have the same regulatory requirements in terms of safety, security, and return. So in fact, the personal pension plan, which used to be known as the micro pension plan, is a subset of the contributionary pension scheme, and all of the laws that govern the contributionary pension scheme from when the Act was enacted in 2004 to where it was revised in 2014 all apply. So all of that obligation and care and oversight, and you're not retiring anytime soon. Over time, your money will grow. Over time, your money will give you a return. You can be a bit more, risk, a bit more of a risk taker. And similarly, when you get closer to the age of retirement, there's another fund for you because you want to access your funds very quickly. You want it to be able to be made liquid as soon as possible so that you can start earning your retirement benefits or whatever. That also applies under PPP. PPP has two funds that sit within the PPP fund part. One is a high-risk fund, and the other one is a lower-risk fund. But we put the control in the hands of the owner of the money. So you choose, based on your circumstance, which of those pots you want to invest in or you want your money to lie in. And based on your investment and risk appetite, your operator then does the investment. I mentioned earlier today that everyone can see their contribution, people can see the growth of their assets or the growth of their funds, the return it's made over time. So all of that transparency is there. Nothing is slacked when we come into the PPP product. What
consideration the different characteristics of contributors, right, on the PPP, right, to ensure that first, people are aware. Second, is that the kind of investment, because from your closing statement just now, they are supposed to determine what kind of investment their money should be put into, but people are not even aware. In fact, I can tell you about all the different types of the four funds that we have. I'm not sure everybody will be able to explain to you what the various funds really mean and at what level should you move from one to the other. What innovation is awareness?
That's why this agency arrangement came to be. So what Keynote will be doing is we'll be supporting the likes of our but we sense of the fact that it's not just about having a great product. I think that's also being said today. It's not enough to have a great product, and the PPP is the full understanding of our and approved accredited pension agents are supposed to play, and definitely Keynote will be supporting them in that journey. Thank you.
All right, I'll go to you last.
Employers are mandated to make pension contributions 7 days with respect to establishment plan participants, because we know that incomes are not constant. Apart from being low, they are also not constant, they are irregular, and they are also unpredictable. So to that extent, the guidelines allow that participants make contributions whenever they have money, whenever they earn. And to that extent, what we have also done is to also allow contributors to make contributions during some event periods. And what do I mean by event periods? For example, now, some people, they only go to markets maybe every 5 days, every 3 days, every 4 days. So the guidelines allow contributors to make contributions when they go to that type of market. And this when he or she is going to earn. But anytime he or she earns, he or she can make contributions. Another thing that we are trying to introduce now, which has not been in the industry before, is the need to remind contributors of the need to make contributions. That was not there before, but if messages are sent that their contributor, your contributions used to come in on the 15th of every month, what is happening, you have not received your contribution. In addition to direct debits that was discussed in one of the panels, in addition to direct debits, because we are already discussing with some aggregators, like cooperative society, the association of cooperative society in Nigeria told us that and that through their direct debits, they can make remittance on behalf of their members into the Catholic account of personal pension contributors. So these are part of the innovations that the Commission is looking at to drive the personal pension plan. And cannot rule out the APIs and the applications that the fintech companies are bringing to bear, because in terms of scale, it is application that can enable us to scale the number of participants in this space. And the Commission has also come up with some guidelines on those applications. For example, now, the application must be tested for capacity such that it can accommodate a large number of participants. Because there are some applications, at times you put maybe 200 participants, first it will be slowing down. After slowing down for a while, it now crack, and that will be the end of that application. So all this will be, all the application will be submitted to testing. And another thing to build trust in this now is that the APAs, they are under strict regulation of the Commission as well as the PFAs, because they act as intermediary between the PFAs and the contributors. And the Commission has so much remunerated them that they don't need to do the selling or any coercive action. And their earning is also for life, as long as the monies they brought into the pension industry remain. Once the money remains, they continue to earn. So these are some of the innovations. And I want to establish our mind of one thing that has been going through since we started this meeting in the morning. And that is the fact that at the former sector worker, and the former sector worker's salary day is almost every day. No. As of now, the contingency portion that the former sector workers can withdraw is 40%. And we have operated this scheme for about 7 years.
In this house of older people, let's keep it simple. Most times it's all just simple ABCD. This is what we need to do. Simple language, how write it. Very important. Because we get back here, what is it that we're talking about? I want to put in money. I want to buy a recharge card. I want to pay. Another one is then displays technology must work. He said something here, when was it? I remember when merchants will have computers. The thing was not working. Oh, that is declined. I've not received my money. It's 3 months. They're fighting, they're trying to make. What happened? That was what gave them to found the solution. That's technology, simple technology. And today, so why are they always going to them? Because they understood it. So that technology is very simple. It's nothing. Of course, that would also drive revenue. No cost of that. I earlier talked about sense. Let's not forget that these agents are business people. They're running their business. And of course, they have the footfall. That same guy that's coming to Bexmo or buy charger at home will also come as it's coming to home and also do this. But he needs to look at what it's all about. And also, not just having the sense, I think getting it at the right time. He talked about 4-hour settlement. Some of them, at times, some of the providers won't even settle them. And as good as they are in promoting your business, that's how they also bad. They also telling them, like, they will discourage the community, and you can't, they own those connections. That is it. Reward them. They love to be sure. No matter how small. You can even start all the over. Get this and that you get. I mean, we all know what that when Swift network started in those days. So Swift will tell us then, for us, staff, fact, at some point, I think for maybe 2 years, I didn't even pay for anything. So every people love that those little, no matter how small, even if it's 100 naira. As we're about sitting here now, if MTN, if you're using MTN, Airtel, so just recharge and get data. We all jump on it. It's not as if we can afford that 1,000 naira or 500 naira, but that's what. That's what. So that's very important. Of course, last, we can't overlook that. Education, continuous training, financial literacy. It's very important. As policies are coming out, as things are changing, as you're building or you're coming up with things, that education is very important. Not after we've introduced product and respect that they start coming back. No, carry them along occasionally. Have that. What do you think? How is this working? Even when you're building additional adult product, it all forms part of that strategy. And of course, awareness. Made a lot of noise from the partners. Awareness. A lot of people are doing so much, but we don't know. So people are talking about disabilities. Why? A lot of people also don't know that they can even make use of some part of their application for the first things that it's only when you why is it that it's only when I go or maybe they start telling me, don't you know that? But they told me that one of my guys. So did you know that that's not lying when you not told me? I don't work for that sure that no things ahead of time. Okay, jingle, even in churches, even in what meetings, gatherings. Let's not look for it. Just use the low level education channels and get it. But most times we're looking for let's put it on television. It's good for public awareness, the international, the high class program. Most people don't get to hear. But where do they hear all these things? That really meetings, the community leaders, high class, where they hear about what.
MC, before you before you choose us on stage, Anthony has been writing something that she wants to tell Tuji. Correct, please. Oh, you are good. Okay. All right, great. Okay. In the absence of that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for listening for getting free consultation, right? Not just only Tuji. And to my esteemed panelists, thank you so much for the time and the knowledge that you have shared this afternoon. Thank you.
I just want to say that they're talking about pension. It's not about money. I think pension is about peace of mind and dignity. And that's something that we should accept. Not just money, what we're talking about, let them understand it's peace of mind and dignity in the years that you want.
Round of applause for doctors. When teachers are talking.
For invaluable contributions to life and motorcycle savings within the pension system. Doctor, for excellence in empowering entrepreneurs through financial literacy and resilience strategy. Thank you very much. And to my business, for distinguished service and expanding the reach of agency banking to the national non-capacity. We began. And to begin. For exceptional advocacy in shaping policy pathways for digital financial services. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. All right, thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please a round of applause for our distinguished panelists and moderator for an engaging and deeply practical discussion. And that panel session was moderated by the Policy and DFS Advocacy Manager, Enhancing Financial Inclusion and Access, Mr. Emmanuel Mokoro. And to be correct and error, SANED is actually the Shared Agents Network Expansion Facilities Limited. Thank you very much. Please a round of applause. As we draw the curtains, we now invite closing remarks and a national call to action. Please join me to welcome the Vice President, Business Growth, Partnership and Operation, our bar, Yemisi Obitai. And quickly, let's just especially recognize the official sponsor of this event, Access ARM Pension Fund Limited. Please a round of applause for them. And now the Vice President, Business Growth, Partnership and Operation Power.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you. I'm sure you have this well time today. We will come to the end of the program today. Thank you for coming.
Yes, after some time, I think this one, she will talk about how to sign up. It's very free.
We want to thank all the directors for Pencom. We want to thank our official sponsor, Access ARM. Thank you for sponsoring the event. Also thank you to the PSAs and the PSC president. Also thank you to our partners present. Also thank you to our agents who came here today to honor us. Also thank you to our panelists who thank you very much for honoring us. I mean, a lot of our panelists came in from Lagos just for us. In fact, the money point CEO came from the US just for participation. So thank you for coming, and please note that this event, we're going to wrap it up tomorrow with onboarding. Do not forget that we have promised that we're going to onboard 5 million before the end of 2026. So we're going to start our activations tomorrow. We have agents ready to onboard. We have free NIN, we have free health checkup. So for PMPs who are present, please tell your customers or your agents that they can come on board, they should bring their customers there so that they can sign up for EPT. So thank you. We'll be displaying our badge to download the agent app. So please display the link for our agent app. Please copy it so that you can send it to your customers. And I'm sure we all have our launch tickets. We have the local staff ready to take us to the launch ticket. Thank you, Mr. James.
Hello. Good job today, by the way. Thank you. Let me. I need your manual number. Yeah. Can you go take a picture, please? No. Okay. Mommy. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.